Alrighty, I am live for episode 2 of The Drive with special guest Dylan Murphy. We're going to be adding him in here. Just give me a couple minutes. Give me 1 minute. Let's add Dylan in here. Alrighty. There he is, getting it all set up.
Yeah, you like the makeshift setup.
There we go.
We make it work.
Absolutely. With whatever we have. I'm doing it on a phone.
There we go.
I'm just giving it a couple minutes to let people join in. Episode 2, Sports and Sales. How do they relate? With special guest Dylan Murphy. Alrighty, we got 4 people in here. I'm sure we'll have some more. Just to let you guys know, I want you guys to keep commenting, ask questions, like it, share it. Please let everybody know about the drive. We're trying to make this a new movement. Thank you, Dylan, for coming on today.
Of course, man.
We're going to have some great topics to go over. I have some questions. Nothing is scripted on this show, so everything is live. We ask the questions, and we'll get natural reactions, natural answers. Alrighty, so
But
you know what we're going to do? We should just start it up.
hmm
Oop, my phone's going off. Let's start it up right now. So I want to introduce everybody. This is Dylan Murphy. He is a college athlete, a sport event manager, and he also has to do with the aspect of sales. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what do you do for work right now?
Yeah, so like Nick said, I'm a college athlete, former college athlete, about 20 pounds heavier now. So not as high as I used to be, but yeah, I grew up with Nick in Mineola, New York. Fortunate enough to get a track scholarship to Duke, which moved me down to North Carolina. I now currently work in Raleigh, North Carolina, which is a town over, work and live right here. And what I do is work for a company called Prime Sport. What we do is oversee sports travel for major sporting events, college events. We have over 25 counts. We do U.S. Open tennis, all of NASCAR, Super Bowl, Final Four. What my job entails in the team I'm on, the event management team, is kind of taking over events, building products, the product travel packages which we sell. So I kind of manage hotel inventory, tickets, transportation, and then the cool part about my job is getting to go ahead and activate and go to these events and make sure everything goes smooth.
So you're traveling a lot, I guess.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. A lot of travel.
Alrighty, well that's what you do for right now. Let's take a blast to the past. All right,
Mm.
let's go over some of the stuff of how we met, just to introduce a little bit more about us.
Mm-hmm.
So how did we meet? What sports did we play? Let's get into a little bit of that. I moved to Mineola um, in second grade. My memory is very bad. In second grade, and I became friends with Justin Sandler, who was actually
Mm-hmm.
one of your best friends at the time.
Yep.
Um, and ever since then, we hit it off. I mean, we're always very competitive with each other. Tell me a little bit more on your side.
Yeah. So you rolled through. I remember you at first. I feel like the first stretch we didn't really like each other. Like
No.
because you came in because Justin and I still to this day so like it was for me it was a little weird. Um, but eventually we hit it off just because everything we had in common and the biggest thing was you moving. We lived in the same apartment complex. So living in that apartment complex, there's a lot of downside. Not as big, not like a house. You don't have that much space. There's some downsides to an apartment complex, but one of the best things for me, and I'm sure you would echo it as well, is getting to play baseball in the yard, throwing the ball every day. Like us to Merseem. Shout out Merseem. I hope he's tuning in.
I hope he's watching. Yep.
Yeah, but we had a little kid clan that kind of, in a way, when you think about it, it's just you're having fun, you're playing every day, you're going out, and you're just getting better. And because like a lot of times I think how like I didn't play too much basketball, I didn't play too much baseball. Like how did I get good at these? Because I know with you had an opportunity, and you were really good about staying disciplined. Once you really found baseball, you kept pushing, and you would practice every day. Um, but for me, I think back now, and I'm like, I think a lot of the ability and a lot of work I put in, I wouldn't even realize because I was just doing it with my friends.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we used to play as soon as we got home, do our homework if we had any, or if we even did it. Then we would go
Yeah.
right outside. We would go right outside, play sports. Dinner time was that, mom called us in. We went to go eat dinner. Then we'd come right back outside until it was dark and mosquitoes were biting us and you saw the lightning bugs. I never forget that type of stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy,
But
man.
we would play, nowadays, I don't think kids are doing the same things that we used to do.
No, I was gonna say I
I
feel like
mean,
we're 20 years old, but I feel like I'm like a grandpa in the sense of based on our how we grew up. It's like when a kid's just trying to play Fortnite or chill inside, and I feel like I'm like you gotta get outside, like some old ass
yeah,
man. It's like, but it's just for me. It's like get it. It's like all I ever wanted to do was be outside when I was young. That's all I wanted to do.
yeah.
Get home and go outside. Like that's what I look forward to. I mean, I guess with technology the way it is and games the way they are and stuff, it's cool. But I mean, you know, for
It's
me, it
making
was
their
just so much
minds to
harder.
mush, man. It's making
Yeah,
their
man,
brains, brain dead. We
for
deal with a lot
sure.
of brain damage today. But
Yeah, for
anyway,
sure. No, whatever.
um,
We won't go too harsh on these millennials.
yeah, we won't go too crazy with that. We won't go too crazy. Um, so we had some great childhood memories. We grew up in Mineola. We played at Richley Stadium. Our little courtyard we called was Richley Stadium. I'm actually wearing a Yankees jersey. Shout out to my cousin Stefan Schrothman. Thank you for the hand-me-down. I can't stand the Yankees, but I'm doing it because I like to play sports. I know Dylan's like, why is he wearing a Yankee
I
jersey?
know. It's
Who's
like
my team?
I
Who's my team?
the freaking Met.
Los Mets, baby.
Yeah. How can you even see him in the back of that NL East division? Can you see him that far
No.
away now?
All right. Let's not talk about
We
that.
don't want to get into it.
This
Yeah.
is about sales. This is about sales. This is not about sports.
You're right. You're right. You're right.
Alrighty. Well, let's get into a couple questions. Let's see. With your sports background and your sales background, because you are doing some aspect of sales, event managing,
Hmm.
stuff like that.
Hmm.
Um, can you explain to the viewers how and why there's so much money involved in sports when it comes to the players, marketing, the events, the hotels that make money off of that? Um, it's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, you think about these events and you're like, okay, these are major events. But I think what I've been able to do this year and work with kind of the going through and seeing something from the beginning all the way through the end, it's pretty insane because you don't even, like you said, like hotels, things you don't think about, TV deals that are signed that you don't even know how people are making, all the tickets, these online ticket exchange, people are buying tickets, reselling tickets. I mean, it's literally insane. All the merchandise that they're selling, marketing the event, promoting all these TV things, all these commercials. It's like they're so involved with an event, even if it's a simple NASCAR race on a Sunday. That like I handle a lot of our NASCAR stuff. It's like I'm not a NASCAR fan at all, but I mean, like you go to one of these things and you're like, this is pretty cool because you take it in and what sports. I mean, almost the WWE actually does a really good job with this. It's like making it a spectacle. Like you think about the Super Bowl, you think about the biggest game of the year. It's like it's a spectacle. Everything
Right.
about it is memorable. Everything about it is experience. And like what I'm in is sales and I'm sure with you in car sales as well. It's you're trying to give these people an experience, even if it's with you for 5 minutes. If you can close a deal in 5 minutes, that's fine. But
Absolutely.
if you get these people to come into you and they automatically feel good about what they're doing and you give them this experience, it's a lot. Like it's real rewarding and it's like you feel a part of it in a way.
You know what it is? It's at least in the car industry, every store you go to has the same goddamn car. I could go to
Yeah,
the Honda down the block or the Honda, a couple states away. It's still
you're
going to
right.
be a Civic. It's still going to
You're
be a
right.
Civic. I
Yeah.
mean, I think a big factor of purchasing it is going to be in the experience. I know there's a type of movement that it's solely just experience.
Hmm.
I think if you don't provide some type of value, if you can't be there after the sale, I mean, it's not gonna play in your favor as well as if you did. And with car
Yeah.
sales, everything's about repeat business. So you have your off-lease
Hmm.
customers, they lease every 3 years, or even friends, family referrals, stuff like that. That's a big thing, and it's just crazy to me. Um, how if you don't offer value, then it's nothing but the number. And a lot of the times, customers don't care about the value that you bring because they just want the
Exactly.
car. I mean, there's a
Exactly.
big debate between that, and it's crazy. But explain to me why and how players are making so much money. I want to get into a little of that because you know a little bit more about sports now that you're in that field than I do.
Hmm.
Uh, where are the players' income? Where is it coming from? Not just from the clubhouse themselves. Explain a little bit more about that.
Well, it does really tie into what we just kind of went into. I mean, we think about merchandise, TV deals, everything that goes into. I mean, think about LeBron to the Lakers. Think about how big that move is. LeBron of being LeBron James, the best basketball player in the world, and then taking the Lakers, then I think at the number two most valuable franchise, over $3 billion. The Knicks somehow still hang in there, even though they suck. But shout out my Knicks. Um, but these brands are so global. You think Real Madrid, Manchester,
All
the
right.
Yankees, all these teams that spend so much money. It's because they bring in so much money, and then the NBA has done so. I think the NBA is really the sports organization in America, at least right now. The NFL, you've seen what's, I mean, as well as they do business wise, the issues that have come up and the problems that are going on with the commissioner and back and forth. It's like, and then you have the whole aspect of it. I think the NBA is kind of the perfect example of how you keep elevating. They're working in with TV. The biggest stars in U.S. sports, I think, are in basketball. Kevin Durant, LeBron James, James Harden. These are like the biggest stars in sports. So they keep getting these deals done with TV. They keep getting these deals with merchandise. I mean, James Harden signed a $200 million deal with Adidas just for shoes, like his
Wow.
shoes and apparel. That's on top of his contract. It's like there's
Right.
so much money that comes in from everywhere else that just wants to be tied. I mean, you think about the NBA last year initiated, everyone has sponsors on their jerseys now. Like in soccer, how Real Madrid has a sponsor on their jersey, Barcelona sponsor on their
Right.
jersey. It's like there's money coming from everywhere, and everyone loves sports. Everyone watches sports, so that's why the sponsors want to be in there, and that's why
Yeah.
that money keeps going up and up, and you have more to spend.
It makes me think like, oh, maybe I should just get some surgery on my arm and jump
Yeah,
back
make a
into it.
comeback. Yeah, you really
Make a
should.
comeback. $200 million just for an Adidas contract. I mean, that's crazy.
Just because
That's
he's popular
unreal.
and they know kids will buy his shoes, they look. We're willing to give this guy $200 million. I mean, and that's like a stud. That's the MVP of the league. There's
Right.
other people with lower tiers and stuff that are getting shoe deals, merchandise deals. I mean, it's crazy.
If I'm correct, I think I did a little research. This was years ago, man. I mean, I was remembering, I looked up what an average bench player makes for baseball, MLB. A
Hmm.
bench player who just came off of, the minor leagues, who's playing
Hmm.
baseball in the major leagues on the bench, warming up the balls for the pitcher. They're
Yeah,
making anywhere from $300,000 to $500,000 traveling the country,
yeah.
not playing yet, but they want their chance to play. But it's just crazy. I want to read
Yeah.
a comment before Martin Roberts said that LeBron should have gone to the Clippers, a terrible move. What do you think about that?
Disagree. Totally disagree.
Okay. All
I
right.
mean, the Clippers are second fiddle in LA already. So you think about LeBron, even if he won't say it, he's the focus. He's the spotlight. This move was done as a mogul, not just a basketball player. So like I said, that Lakers brand, all the people who watch I mean, the Clippers have been better than the Lakers for the last what, 5, 6 years. Kobe his last few years didn't go too well. So if you think about the Clippers having Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, Lob City, all that stuff going on, and the Lakers still just trumping them in money, tickets, viewership, and now they're going to have a better team again. It's like it's just hard to bet against that brand, the Lakers brand. Everyone knows the Lakers. You go to China, people wear Lakers jerseys. You go to China, people wear Yankees jerseys. It's like the Clippers are always going to be second fiddle to the Lakers, in my opinion.
He's responding to you. He said, "Who created the Warriors? Jerry West. Where's old Jerry? He's at the Clippers." He said.
No, that's what I'm saying. From a team standpoint,
Right.
I won't get on his case about that, but there's plenty of teams. He should have went to the 76ers then if we're talking about teams. He could have forced his way to this, you know what I'm saying? So it's like
That's a
there's
whole
there
topic. Yeah, that's
yeah, from a team standpoint, but I'm thinking especially if we're talking about sports and sales, you think about the business side of things, the
right.
Lakers, that's the brand. If we're
Right.
talking about sports, then I'm not going to do him. I mean, he could have went to a ton of better teams, like
Yeah.
team fit wise. But hey, we're going to
It's
see. I'm excited.
it's crazy that you mentioned it because in car sales and different sales aspects, different sales regions, everybody talks about it nowadays. It's called the brand. You have to
Mm-hmm.
build a brand. I
Yep.
mean, if nobody knows who you are, if you don't give out that magnetism or the ability to attract people to you, branding is so important. And I think,
Mm-hmm.
obviously LeBron's going to have that, all the famous sports players, because they're being watched by millions across America and even overseas. But branding is definitely, it's here. You have to build a brand.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Let's see a couple comments. Self-promotion is a necessity in sports. Okay. Um, let's see here. So let me ask you,
Mm-hmm.
are you done running?
That's for sure.
If you guys don't know, Dylan was a college athlete. You ran the 800 meter, right?
800 meters. Yes, sir.
For Duke University. I mean, how was that experience? Tell us a little bit about um, your attributes as an athlete. What makes you the best athlete you can be?
So the the biggest thing for me in any sport I've ever played, and Nick, you know this, either whether you were kicking my ass in 2K or whether you were hitting a bomb over the apartment buildings off a terrible curveball I just threw, it's like the thing I've always had going for me is my competitive nature. And again, like we're talking about, we're talking about overlapping into the business world. It's like you want to be the best in everything you do, and I'm one of those the cliche, one of the most cliche sayings, but like I hate losing more than I love winning. Like I
Yeah.
just do not like to lose. So when I came up running, I started ninth grade. When I went to a different high school, private high school, I was just like kind of over. I was focusing more on baseball, basketball, just the things I like to do. I decided to just run cross country, and luckily it turned out to be one of the best decisions of my life, obviously. But it
Yeah.
just wasn't something that was even on my radar. Like I hadn't CYO, I hadn't trained. Like if you told me I was going to run, I would have thought I'd be like a sprinter just from my soccer experience and stuff, running up and down the field. But I had no clue what I was doing. I didn't know anything about the sport. I didn't care about the sport. I just because it was something to do. And the thing that got me through it was never wanting to lose. I didn't like running long distance runs. I didn't like getting my butt kicked in workouts, but it's like if you put the lights on and it's game time and there's 100 meters to go and you line me up against somebody, it's like, all right, let's go. Like that's where I like to shine. It's like if people are going to try and beat me to that line, I'll take it like it's life or death. Me or you. right to them.
Yeah.
If you beat me, we won't talk.
Oh, absolutely not. I remember
We won't
beating your
talk.
ass a couple times,
Yeah,
and
and
you freak out and go home, and that was the end of that, man. You.
that's my thing. I've had so many pickup games in the gym at Duke. Even we'll be playing all my friends, and then we're walking back to the dorms. I'm 15 feet ahead of everybody, and people are like, "Oh, what's up with him, man?" So it's like, look, I'm doing it for y'all. I'm doing it for y'all because if I come back here and start chirping, it's
Yeah.
gonna be a big problem. Because then it's all
That's
my
the thing.
fault, and
I
then
think that's
so
called being how do you say it, a sore loser.
yeah. I was gonna say a jackass. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
essentially what it is. But I also look at it. I mean, a lot of times, I'll end up going back to my friends or something and apologizing, and no one ever takes it seriously because if you're close with me, you understand
Yeah.
how I
Yeah,
am.
absolutely.
But I mean, it did help some positive attributes. But sometimes if I were in a job interview or something and people say, "Oh, what's your best characteristic?" and I think one of my best characteristics is my competitiveness, I also have to be like, it's also could be one of my biggest weaknesses because if I can get
Right.
frustrated easily, if you're with a team and something's not working, I could snap a little bit quicker just because I want to be the best that I can and represent our brand the best I can and make as much money as I can. So stuff like that kind
I,
of gets in the way. But at this point in my life, and I can't drive and what I've been able to do. The drive, see, no pun
right.
intended. But I can't like
I,
it obviously helped me out.
all right. Martin has another man. Marty, you're on the question list, man.
Marty chirping me, man. Marty's chirping me.
Martin Robert, his question is, this is a good question. Um, that's a tough one. What was the worst loss you ever went through,
Hmm.
and the most gut-wrenching loss, and how did you recover from it? So I guess, you know, you could ask that about sports. You could ask about your personal life. That question goes to everything. So
Yeah.
what was the worst loss you ever went through, the most gut-wrenching loss? How did you recover?
Hmm.
Um, and Julie Lopes, along with that question, we'll get to it after, but she asked, what lesson did that teach you, and how did you apply it to sales? So
Yeah.
again, so let me repeat Martin's question. What was the worst loss you ever went through?
Yeah. So it actually kind of clicked to me right away, which makes me think it's definitely one of the worst. And it wasn't even so. This was my senior year. We ran a four that was super competitive. We played. We performed really well. So we were at the New York State Championship meet. I was running an individual event before that 4x8. So for me, it was always as competitive as I am. I'm also very team oriented. Like I cared more about running relays and doing well and performing for my teammates and coach than I ever cared about my individual accolades. So I raced in this individual race, and it wasn't even that I didn't win that race, but I didn't win the race. I got like fourth when I was hoping to win the race, and I also tweaked my hamstring coming down the final straightaway. So
Oh man.
that set me up into 2 hours later. I'm supposed to run again, and I'm trying to warm up, and it just wasn't happening. Like I mean, I was gonna do whatever I could. We had another person there to like step in, but it's like you take one of the better guys off the team and have to throw somebody in. They can, you can only expect so much. And this is the New York State meet. We're not at some random meet. Like everyone's going for blood. Everyone's trying to win here.
This is it.
So,
This is
so
it.
yeah. So I just remember not being able. I eventually it was decided that I wasn't gonna run, and I just remember as soon as the gun went on, I just had like a pit like fall into my stomach, like the biggest guilt I had ever felt. Like I was like, obviously, what was I gonna do? Like it was my body. It was coming down the last straightaway, tweaking a hamstring and running. Like it's not the craziest thing that's ever happened,
It's
but when
mentally you want to keep going, and in your
ex-
heart, but the body is just
exactly,
not going to let it.
especially someone like me, where it was just like I'll freaking break my leg out there and still run before like that, and like it was just like what was the sensible decision? What would help the team do the best they can? Me quitting and not being able to finish, or hobbling around the track, or giving someone else an opportunity to shine and perform. And and they did all right. I think they got fourth, but we were a favorite to win.
Okay.
And I just remember, I mean, I was straight crying like a baby at the track meet. Like I was in the corner, like, after. I just felt so guilty because I had tried to carry those guys, and they put me in such a good position all year that that was like, but the best part of that story is how I came back from it. The next meet was the national championship meet, so that's how you run to become an All-American. This was literally a week later. I didn't practice once that in between, but I wasn't not going to run on that All-American relay. Got the stick in first place. My team did a great job. A guy was right with me the whole way. Last 50 meters it was a barn burner. It didn't matter what talent you had. It didn't matter how smart you were, how tactically sound you were. It was me versus you, last 50 meters of a race. It doesn't matter what happened the first 750. I threw away my form. I just said, I'm going to grit this out. I was in pain, moving fast. My hamstring was hurting, but somehow won. And that's actually the picture that you've been promoting, that race.
There we go. That's the picture. Yeah. That's a funny story, man.
Yeah. And that's so right there was it was like, you could see my face, just like the grit through that line.
You're like, fuck yes.
Fuck yeah. And that's it was like 0.2 seconds. And that was just that punch was not like a celebratory or like a, I'm trying to show anybody up. That was just like what you said. I said that's like, fuck yeah. Like that. Like, yeah. I couldn't believe that. So we were national champions, got a ring, get to call ourselves we were all Americans. So, I mean, that was 1 week later. I can imagine some people having to wait a lifetime to back from something like that. But I mean, I was fortunate enough. I had the team, I had the right coaching staff. And I mean, yeah, that is a story that I'm still proud of. One of my favorite accomplishments that I have athletic career.
That's a huge comeback, man. That's a huge comeback.
Yeah.
I think in sales and in that aspect, you can definitely go through that as well. When you're selling, for instance, in my industry, if you could sell 25 cars a month, 20 cars a month, and then 1 month you do 10 to 15, and it's hard to come back. Mentally it's a struggle, but you just got to push right through it. Martin Roberts says, barn burner, I'll use that in my future speech. So he did like that. Good answer.
Marty, my guy. Me and Marty are going to be boys after this. We're going to go to the Lakers-Clippers game.
Yep. Well, I'm going to have Marty on the show eventually too. Just got to set a time and date, and he'll be on here as well.
Awesome.
Let's see what else we got here. Adriana Schrothman, my aunt, my mom's twin, says, you're not a jackass, you're just competitive.
I appreciate it.
Yep. Let me see what else we got. I'm scrolling through here. Alexander Lambert, what's up, man? How you doing? All right, so back to that question, what lesson did it teach you, and how do you apply it to everything else in your life, including your job?
Yeah, I mean, the big word you just struck is mentality. There's a great book. I don't know if Conor McGregor, the fighter, he's been in the news for some bad stuff lately, but he's on a comeback. His head coach wrote a book called You Win or You Learn. It was a New York Times bestseller and stuff. It's one of my favorite books I ever read, and I don't read a lot of books. It's that saying right there, you win or you learn. I think a lot of times, especially on the high school circuit, it was a lot different for me translating to college, because in high school, I had such a good team. I had such good teammates. We performed all the time. We would race every single weekend, and we would always, I can count the amount of, not to be cocky, but I remember those losses so well because they were so ingrained in everything that we did. It was you either win or you take a loss like a freaking man. I took every loss, and we had a loss, whether it was that state meet earlier that same year. We got our butts kicked up in a big meet in Boston. The next week we came back to New York on home turf and raced the same exact teams, and we won. A complete different team. It's just especially as a leader on a team too. It's you want to keep that mentality high, but especially in a sport like running, it's if people aren't feeling good, it only takes one guy to have a bad day. So you need everybody to be able to click. You saw on the finals, LeBron, he can bring it every night, but if JR is off the Henny in the parking lot before the game and he can't hit a three, then what are we gonna do? So it's that mentality, having that building that chemistry and that brand of what you represent. Even when you're just a high school kid and you don't really think about it that in depth, it's really true, because you can't just lose and just next week everything's going to go all right. Like it takes a mentality. It takes how you carry yourself. It takes what you expect of yourself to make sure you're going to be able to get back on top.
Absolutely. You're bringing up a lot of points that are awesome. I'm writing down. I'm jotting down a couple of notes of keywords that you're saying. I'm going to reveal what I see at the end of it. But guys, please comment, share, like it. You guys have any other questions for us? Let's see if anybody's got any other questions. Let me scroll through here. Let's see. Julie Loeb says the players use their own brand to support other brands. The ultimate highway billboard. That's pretty, yeah. That's on point.
That's good. That's real good.
Let's see what else we got. Scotty Rivera's on. Hey, Scotty,
Scotty!
how you doing? Jill Mullane is on. Brendan Healy. Okay, let's see. Diego, my buddy Diego, says Yankee jersey and gold chain is like the Italian mafia. Good job, my friend. Ashley says hi to you guys. Hello. Yes, well, I am Italian. I can't stand the Yankees, but I'm just wearing it because we're talking about sports.
You do look like a
Bill,
guy in the corner after a Yankee game, though, right in the Bronx. Yankee
right.
jersey, gold chain. That was a fucking ball.
Yeah. You know, the first episode, somebody had to mention the chain. I have to rock it every episode after. I think it's my brand. This is
you
my
gotta.
brand.
We're promoting brands. If I didn't realizing what you were wearing and had the gold chain, I would have tried to one up you a little bit, but I didn't know. So
yeah,
if I ever return on this show, I'm gonna be coming for you.
You definitely will, brother. Bill has a question. He says, do you think the protest in the NFL is killing the brand of the NFL?
I think it's not helping. I mean, there's a lot of people who really take it personal. I know people that have had, especially you saw that people who had season tickets, there's people who just said, no, they paid for their season tickets, and there was videos going around. There was a trend where people would just rip up their tickets.
Yeah.
The thing with the NFL, it just is such a giant, man. Like that, so much money. There's so much viewership. I mean, it's just you know, like you said, it's a touchy subject. Whether you're for the protest, whether you're against the protest, it's you know, like we said, sports usually brings people together. Sports is like what kind of, you take all your personal bullcrap aside and everyone comes together in a stadium, or everyone cheers for that same team, and that's how you kind of find that camaraderie amongst people of all walks of life. So the NFL does so much, and you see all these people who had nothing, and then as soon as they get drafted, they're able to do so much for their families and create these amazing brands and change people's lives for the better, donating to these children's hospitals and stuff. Like I can go on and on with how much good NFL has created. So for me specifically, I just hate to see something like that where we're even talking about something where people can be going away from something that's supposed to bring us together. Like what, you know, you could be against for it, but the fact that there is that something and the way it's been handled already, and people coming from, you know, the president's office all the way to different sports, like it's just, there's too much tension, man. There's too much tension, and it's sports. It's supposed to be fun. That's why we love it. And
absolutely.
I mean, that definitely can hurt a brand.
Marty says, another comment by Martin Robert, I think the attention they put on makes it terrible. Marshawn Lynch sits every time eating Skittles. No one says a goddamn thing.
That's beast mode, man.
Thank you, Marty. We appreciate that comment. Eduardo Manuel says, now I have to get a gold chain or something. Or a Rolex. Oh, okay. Try to one-up me.
Get a Rolex and you'll be broke.
I don't even want to talk about that. Marty says that the gold chain is my swag. It's called magnetism, brother. You got to create it. Make it come to you. Let's see. Eduardo comments on Marty's Skittle comment. He said, Skittles are good. Can't blame him. Absolutely, man. Is there any other questions out there that you guys want to ask that are relating from sports and sales? I'm going to finish up in a couple minutes here, just taking a couple more questions. Let's see. Marty says facts. They want to fine players, 15-yard penalties. No printer. Alrighty. All right, well, let's future goals with this guy. Okay, let's wrap this up. I want to go over the notes that I was going with. All right. Some key words that you mentioned: being competitive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not giving up, having the heart to push through things. The heart of a what?
Lion.
The heart of a lion, absolutely.
Kid Cudi, baby.
Hashtag Kid Cudi. Alrighty. So competitiveness, not giving up, being a leader, leading your team was a big thing that you've said.
Mm-hmm.
I want to read you a list that I made prior to this. It's 5 things that I thought were really important to being an athlete and being, good in sales, great in sales,
Mm-hmm.
and how they relate. The first one is winning. You see me? You there?
Yeah.
All right. The first one is winning. All right.
Mm-hmm.
You said you have to win. That's your desire.
Mm-hmm.
Winning goes with competitiveness and being competitive. The second one was resilience. Never giving up, pushing through all the bullshit. Even though you destroyed your leg, you went through it all. You still won the All-American, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Yeah, resilience. Number 3 was team driven. So you know how to be together and act as a team. You're good in a team. You're good as a leader.
Yep.
The next one was a motivator. If you're good at a leader, you're good at being a motivator as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's hand in hand. And then the last one is leadership. I mean, you took your team all the way to All-Americans. You even ran through the race. You got there with the help of you and everybody else there. And those are the 5 things that I think are really important to sports and to sales as well. If you
Mm-hmm.
could have a winning attitude, be resilient, never give up, be team driven and work with everybody else, be a motivator, so help somebody when they're down, motivate people to get off their ass and sell more cars or sell more tickets or whatever it may be. And then leadership is that leadership, you have that magnetism, you create that brand, you're leading
Mm-hmm.
people, people want to follow you. I think those
Yep.
are all super important things, man.
Yeah.
I have 2 more questions,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're gonna end it here. Um, the next question is, what's coming up on the horizon for you? So, what is next in your agenda?
So right now I'm heavy entrenched because the sport football picks back up now, which is nice. But I'm actually to Texas A&M for a Clemson football game. We have an official partnership with Clemson, so we're bringing a bunch of their donors, fans, all that stuff to the Woodlands, Texas. They're gonna be out there, stay in some nice hotels, and they're gonna get an opportunity to go to the 12th man, that big time stadium. I'm pretty excited to get a chance to go to that. So that's what's immediate next for me. A little bit past that, we get into bowl season. We work a lot with the college accounts, and from there it never really stops. There's Final Four. We go into there's Super Bowl, then there's Final Four, and the Masters, Kentucky Derby. It's once December 2nd, that Selection Sunday hits, and even a little before that, until the Masters, that's busy season. There's something every
Oh
week.
man,
There's something
absolutely.
every week.
That's good though. Busier, you make more money, you have more fun. I know you get a lot of perks with your job.
Yeah.
Now, coming up to the last question to wrap it up. This is the final and best question of the night.
Mm-hmm.
What is your drive?
My drive is just being, as cliche as it sounds, is just being the best I can be and never settling for what I want to do. I mean, there's a lot of times where if you're on a hunter, like I love my job now. I get a lot, like you said, a lot of perks and stuff. But and you've always known this a lot. A big thing for me is I've always wanted to be within the broadcasting side of sports. And based on the reviews of this, they might say this guy never has a chance for radio, but that's okay because I'll push through it because that's my drive. But resilience, gotta have it. What do you gotta do? Stay happy. But no, but yeah. In all seriousness, my drive is to, you know, you only live once. YOLO. Shout out Drizzy. But I want to accomplish as much as I can. I've been very fortunate to be around the people I've been around, to, you know, work as hard as I can, when an opportunity, not to waste it. But I really want to be, you know, these jobs that I want to do, and I'm sure with you as well, it's like they don't come easy. They don't come like there's a million people just like me that want to do it. So separate yourself, keep that drive, show people why, you know, people can have the same talent as you, but what if I'm just as talented as someone and I outwork them triple? And that's something that wasn't always there for me. It used to be just a lot of talent and just going along with the flow. But as you grow and see, not only as an athlete, but as a person in the business world, as a young professional, it's like those same characteristics that got you where you were and that people respected you so much for are exactly why you're going to keep it within a business.
Absolutely, man. That's a great answer to what is your drive. I want everybody to like, comment, share, you know, ask questions. I'll be answering the comments all night. If you have anything, you know, any questions for Dylan Murphy, I tagged him on the Facebook. I could also link his Instagram. It's been great. This was an awesome talk, man. I haven't seen you for years. It's been a while. It's been a long time. We always get separated by life. That's how it is.
Yeah, that's how it is. But that's how you measure the real ones in your life and the true friendships you got. It's when we hadn't, like you said, we hadn't talked, and this was not scripted. We just have a free flowing conversation. We talk about the good times that we had in the past, but we're also so excited for each other and what we're going to keep doing in the future. And I know I work a lot, and I'm doing podcasts and blog stuff, so we're definitely going to have some crossovers. What you doing with what you're doing, I'd love to help out. And you know, as soon as you said you wanted me on here, it was an absolute yes. And I hope I can get you on my podcast and get you maybe writing a blog about, you know, sales and the business aspect and stuff. Like I try and keep my mind open and try and, if people have something to say, then I want them to say it, and I want to be someone who gives them a chance to say it. And that's what you're doing with this.
Absolutely.
And I think it's a great thing, and that's why I always be down to collaborate with people who have that same kind of mindset.
Yeah, I'm gonna finish on this note. This show is about, I mean, you see on Facebook, you see on Instagram about all the success stories. You know, I made $1 million in 2 days. Okay, great. But what about the fucking the failures? How many failures you went through? What about all the bullshit you need to talk about? I mean, I want to talk about everything, anywhere from success stories to being down in the dumps. This is what it's going to be about. This is the drive, what drives you to success. And it's going to be with young entrepreneurs or young kids like us. We're just trying to make it. That's all it's about.
That's right.
I'm gonna wrap it up on that note. Again, everybody like, comment, share it. We'll be back next week with another special guest. This has been a great talk with Dylan Murphy. Everybody go follow him, go like him. I'll tag him in the comment section, and we will hear from you then. Alrighty, guys. See you later. Take care.
See you guys.